Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Oops, let me move this over. How is everyone doing? Elon has to sell $5 billion to acquire Twitter by Friday. So Anthony said Tesla puts Elon has to sell $5 billion to acquire Twitter by Friday. Right, so you could play it that way. But again, right, I always like to stick to the chart, right? Whatever the chart says, right? If the chart says take a short based on the price action, that's what I'll do. If not, then I'm not going to play based on my emotions or thoughts, right? Right, always, have a plan. Right, if you play based off of price action, make sure you're sticking to that. All right, so we could take a look at the chart for sure. All right, so if he does, right, let's see what the chart says. Yeah, so J Paul said, right, feel like the IV on puts for Tesla will be insane either way, right? So there's probably a move that's expected to happen. So right, that totally can increase the IV on contracts. But we kind of do have like a little reversal pattern here on Tesla, right? This is the 1 hour chart. We are sitting right at the lows here, right? We've bounced 1, 2, 3, 4 times now, right at this previous low back in on May 25th, May 24th, right? Also June 16th, right? We bounced a few times here and so on. All right, look at this previous bounce here. If I could get it on the level, right? Close enough, right? So we could potentially see a reversal here, but then obviously if that news comes out that he has to sell, we'll see what happens. We do have a gap to fill above here, right? So we need to watch for that. Take a look at SPY here. So huge run up yesterday on SPY, right? Once this level broke here, right? This is the fake out that we got, right? Then we came back down within the wedge, rejected it again, right? Previous resistance, acted as support, acted as resistance twice here, and then we finally broke out. A huge run up, and now we're sitting right at this previous resistance, right? We're at a pretty important level here, right? We have this previous support, right? So if we do break the high from yesterday, you need to watch this 382.10 level, right? 382, right? Let's just make it a whole number, right? Watch 382 for a rejection. All right. I don't like to play these run-ups. No, not this run-up, but like today, got to be careful. Right, we saw a huge run-up yesterday, so we just need to be careful. But I'm going to set an alert at the high of yesterday and make sure that I am looking at what happens in this region here. Right, we need to watch this previous resistance from yesterday, or from the 5th. Right, here's VIX. Right here in pre-market, right, VIX is open, so right, we kind of have this wedge to the downside here, right? Price action's consolidating. We rejected this trend line multiple times now, right? So, and we're kind of breaking here to the downside, right? So that's bullish for SPY. We'll go back over this right before market opens. If everyone could please drop a like on the video, I would appreciate it. What questions does everyone have? Would love to answer some questions about trading in general. So if you have a question, or if you haven't been performing well, ask me a question. This is your time to do so. This is your time to do so. So drop a like, ask a question, and let's get after it. So VIX, right? Have this double top here. Have this range now. Right, we're approaching this bottom level here. At what point did I begin to size larger? So as a beginner, we all tend to size large too soon, right? So what I suggest is, right, as if you're a beginner and you're still working on building consistency in trading, don't increase your position size, right? That is not a time to focus on account growth. Right, you want to work on the fundamentals and the basics and the basic principles of trading. Right, you want to build a consistent strategy. Right, of course you're going to want to make the most money possible, because that's the point of trading. But in the beginning stages, right, you'll make a lot of mistakes. So don't focus on the money, like I always say, and just focus on building a consistent strategy, a plan that works over and over again, and just following the chart. Right, once you nail down that and you know exactly what you're doing, that's when you could start to size bigger, and you won't have to worry about the money. Right, the money plays no effect. Right, I trade the same whether it's with $100 or $50,000. Right, the money's the same. Yes, you can lose more, but you shouldn't be focusing on the money anyway. Hopefully that answers your question, Brad. My stop loss for SPX, I don't even know what I'm looking at for SPX yet. Right, I have no idea what I'm going to take yet. Advice on accepting risk for newer traders: develop a plan. Right, have a level that you're going to enter, exit, and that's it. Right, follow the setup. Why do you see the setup perfectly but hesitate to enter even though it does exactly what I want it to do? That's fear, right? You're using emotion. You can't have emotion when trading, right? Flux. So what I want you to do is paper trade, right? If you guys have a problem with, not entering because you're scared or something, I just lost my train of thought. If you guys have like a fear of entering or something, right? If something's holding you back, paper trade, right? And if you could do it, right, if you can actually plan the trade and execute that correctly, now your only issue is emotions, right? And getting over the fact that you could potentially lose money, right? So then you need to focus on that, right? Accepting that you can lose money, right? And sizing correctly. I use all time frames, but I generally stick between these here. The 10 and 15 minute is pretty much what I trade on most of the time. How do I know when to sell my contracts that are just runners? You tend to sell them early based off support and resistance levels, right? If this level breaks, right, let's say I enter here for a breakout. First, I'm going to sell my first contracts at this level here, right? Because we could possibly reject. Right, if that breaks out, the next level above is around this region or so, right? So I'm gonna look to sell my contracts here next, right? The runners. Okay. You ran 5% position size for a bit on your account, but recently moved back to 2 to 3%. Has worked well for me as of late. Yep, size smaller than you think, right? Because emotions is probably one of the biggest factor in general for someone, you know, who's under a year or two of trading. And you probably don't even think that you know, have that issue, but most people do. Most people have that issue of they can't handle the loss. Oh, a stop loss I take in general? No specific stop loss, right? I don't have a percentage stop loss. I don't like percentage stop losses. I'll take a loss based on the next support below or next resistance above, right? I'm always playing the chart, sticking to the chart. Another thing, right? If you feel yourself getting greedy and you feel, you know, yourself getting stressed when you're in a position, back away, right? Exit the position, whether it's in profit or a loss, and, you know, go back to the basics, right? Size small, take one contract, right? Don't get in that rhythm of, you know, trying to make money back, revenge trading and all that. It's not going to end up good, right? We all do it here and there, right? We can't be perfect all the time. Last week I had a red week. I chased one position and I ended up losing, and I ended up red for the week. And it really humbled me back down to, you know, I need to get back to my plan, right? Mental game and emotions are extremely tough, right? And you can't be perfect every week. So, you know, it's good to be humbled every now and then and take a loss, because it will set you up for a nice little run. Small good decisions as, do you pay yourself a certain percentage from each trade, or you have a set payment for yourself? Any of the profits I make, I reinvest. Right, I have other sources of income that I pay myself from. But any of the profits I make, I either reinvest into a long-term account or real estate. That answered your question as well, guy in a truck. Do I prefer breakout trades or retest patterns? Really depends on the setup. I've been really enjoying, like, as we approach this level here, as we approach a resistance, right, it'll typically break through and fake out. Right? So playing, you know, playing bounces off support or rejections off resistance, you know, that's ideal, right? Because, so for example, right, if we have one level of resistance, right, like, so for example here, right, this level rejected, get a lower high, right? So I would look for a rejection off this level again, right? And then you could play rejections off this level, because you got to expect multiple bounces to happen, and so on. What other questions does everyone have? You guys are asking some good questions. Let's take a look at some setups here, if you don't have any questions. So 120.33 on Amazon, right? Double top. Needs to break that for a move to the upside. Apple. I bought a nice run up yesterday. 1.5% it was up, very strong. Right, but look where it rejected. Right, previous support, previous resistance. Right, rejected perfectly. Yeah, you always should try and reinvest anything, right? So your money can start working for you. Here's Tesla, right? Multiple rejections off this high here. I wouldn't be too mad if we got a rejection and, you know, come back down to the lows here. Right, we bounced a few times now off this level. Once, twice, 3 times, and then this huge fake out that we had here. Any other indicators I use? Nope. This is it. Sometimes I keep this on. All right, but shouldn't be dependent on any indicators. AMD, little kind of triple top here on a smaller time frame. Right, kind of looks like if this doesn't break out, looks like we might see some downside if this rejects again. Sitting right at the highs here in pre-market. Nvidia. Right, rejected multiple times, created a lower high from this 127.69 level, this previous resistance. And so if this rejects again, and look for some downside. Microsoft had this double top here the beginning of October. Right, so watch for another rejection at that level or a breakout. Snapchat had that huge run up on that Department of Justice news yesterday. Square looks great in the long run. Right, here's the here's the chart. Here's the daily. I can even extend this to here. All right, look at this chart. I mean, it looks great. Right, multiple bounces off of this region here. Right, needs to break out over this level. Right, if 59.74 can break, we should see a run up to 63. You seem to get caught in fake outs, and when it's a fake out, it ends up not. You know, the only way is to get better is experience. That's really the only way. Time spent in front of the screen is really the only way you're going to get better. All right, and obviously that applies to anything. You know, that applies to everything. If everyone could please drop a like on the video, I would appreciate it. We're at 60 likes. Let's get it to 100. Netflix, let's see. So first thing I notice on Netflix, right? Look at this previous support. Look where we rejected. Smaller price action. Let's take a look. Right, nice flag. Kind of had like a fake breakdown yesterday. Held the low though. Right, held this low. I would take a short. You know, I would avoid this, I think, right, because we do have this triple top here, right? So if this level breaks, then, you know, we might see downside back to this region around 267. You need to see what it does around this zone here, right? Because if it does break down, right, we have this support, right? This can act as a support 280. And then we also have this triple top that we had here, right? 1, 2, and 3. And then, you know, if that breaks, we'll test this region here around 268. Amazon just partnered with PayPal and Venmo as a payment option at checkout. It's pretty cool. All right, so I'll add this to the watch list and I'll keep an eye on it. But this has a nice little setup here, right? If this breaks, you know, might see a move back up to the high 290. So like this setup right here, this is what we want to catch every time. This is something that you want to catch every time. This is a high, tight flag underneath resistance. Right? 1 rejection, 2 rejection, 3, right? High, tight flag. You take calls in this zone here. You set a stop loss below, right in the zone here. And your price target is the next level above, which is, right, you look for, where's my arrow? Here. Right, you look for a move right up to that next resistance, which was, right, if I go back, it was at 290 level. Right, and that's what you look for every single time. Right, so take the entry, and there you have it. This is what you want to look for every single time. That's a perfect flag. Right, high, tight flag, right? Tight meaning, right? So there's this type of flag, and then, right, there's always like this type of flag where it just constantly extends further and further. The further it gets, the more I want to avoid it. You know, if it's something like that, right? I want to see this short little flag. My Tesla chart. Here's my Tesla chart. Um, 6 minutes to market open. What other questions does everyone have? All right, so here's SPY. Right, we need to keep an eye at this level here. This resistance right here. Right, VIX as well. It's going to tell us something today. Make these trend lines a different color so we can tell what's going on here. Tourist asks, candle wicks or body when drawing lines? depends on how many touches there are, right? You got to look for the most touches. Right, like, you know, you just want to see the most touches. Look at this wedge here, right? Breaks out to the upside, right? These are the wedges you want to identify. Gotta set my alert on Amazon here. Honestly though, like the setup on SPY, I don't really like too much. Right, so, you know, probably gonna have to wait for, you know, intraday setup. You know, we'll keep an eye at see what happens at this previous resistance here that we had yesterday. Based on my experience, when comparing this year to past years in difficulty trading, pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. The COVID run-up was definitely the easiest to trade in. All you had to do was buy calls for next week and you made money. That was very easy. Like, all you literally had to do was buy calls and then you would make money. Right? This run-up was nuts. Anytime you have a steep sell-up like this, that is like an amazing opportunity to get in. Right? Look at this dip that we have here. Right? In the market, right? Picture now. All right, if you start investing slowly every single month, you know, in 5-10 years from now, right, the market could be, you know, up here, right? And then this is going to look like, you know, a little tiny blip in the market, right? Like these dips down here back in, you know, 2000 and whatever, right? 2008, right? Everyone thought this was the end of the world. Right here also, right? 2001, right? This was unfortunate that, you know, from 2000 and, you know, 2, then back in 2009, right? This, you know, 6-year, 7-year rip that we had, right? It all got wiped out. So unfortunate, but you know, look at this run up that we've had since 2009, 2008 time. Right, this is when millionaires were created. Right, then we had this dip again in 2020, COVID, and right, we had that huge rip, and now we're pulling back. Right, so if you look at the long time frame, right, here's the 1-month chart. You know, so add every month, right? It's the smartest decision you can make. It requires no maintenance as well, right? Just add every month a small amount, you know, whatever you can contribute, whatever you can afford. You know, this could totally pull back, you know, further, right? But if you add every single month, right, your dollar cost averaging, and that is, you know, the best situation. All right, with that being said, market opens in a minute here. Let's switch over to the Discord. If you could drop a like before you head out, I would appreciate it. Appreciate everyone for stopping by. Let's have a killer day. I'll see you in the Discord.